Assistant Professor in LG Institute of Engineering and Technology in Department of Electronics and Communication. This video is about subject fiber optic communication. So friends, till now we learn about the various optical communication aspects. In this video, we are going to learn about the advances in the optical fiber system. So friends, I think you people know about the advancement in the optical fiber communications. You heard about the various technologies which developed using the optical fiber. The very common example that we can see in our houses, we have the fiber optic, the broadband connection. And what are the advantages using that? You all are using that. So we have a very faster speed comparative with the earlier time using the dial-up connections or using the coaxial cable lines. There are the various, again, the advancement using it. So that are the principle of the WDM, DWDM, that is the dense wavelength division multiplexing, SONET or the SDH. So we are going to learn about this. Again, as per the examination point of view, you have to prepare the short note for all this particular technology. So in the chapter number 1, we have studied about the multiplexing technique. What is that? Multiplexing, that's the combining the more than one optical signal and transmitting them over the one communication channel. So that means the multiplexing. The variety of the multiplexing, that are the time division multiplexing, frequency division multiplexing, wavelength division multiplexing. As you know that in case of the optical communication, we learn about the WDM, that is the wavelength division multiplexing. So this wavelength division multiplexing, okay, that corresponds to the scheme in which the multiple optical carriers at a different wavelength, okay, they are modulated by using the independent electrical bit and they transmitted over the same particular the fiber. The optical signals at the receiver, which is demultiplexed into the separate channels by using the optical technique. So these were the multiplexing, demultiplexing at the transmitter and the receiver that can be done, and we can take the advantage of combining the optical signal and transmitting them over the one communication system. So the main system feature of the WDM, they are the follows, that are the capacity, transparency, wavelength routing, wavelength switching. So these all are the features of using the WDM. There are the two types of the WDM. What are those? So that are the unidirectional and the bidirectional. Now, what is the meaning of this unidirectional WDM? Here you can see the diagram of it, that the channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, for example. Okay, so they are channel 1 having the wavelength lambda 1, okay, channel 2 having the wavelength lambda 2 and the lambda 3. So they all are multiplexed using the device which is known as the WDM device. Now using the optical fiber, this can be transmitted. Now again at the another end there is a detector, and which can separate out the channel 1, channel 2 and the channel 3. Okay, so now here you can see the direction, okay, for transmission of the optical signal from the one direction to the another direction only. So this can be referred to as a unidirectional WDM system. So in this, the single carrier wavelength that are fed into the single fibers at one end and then separate them into their corresponding detectors at the other end. So this is about the unidirectional. Again, the insertion loss, channel width and the crosstalk. They are three basic parameters which are used to decide the performance of the WDM system. So if the WDM system, okay, you want to measure these three parameters, you need to look at and you can make the decision that whether it is performing well or there could be any problem in the WDM system. This is the bidirectional system. Mean either of the direction we can multiplex data, okay, and we can transmit the data. So this is what it is about the bidirectional WDM system, in which you can see that at the one end the optical source one is there having the wavelength lambda 1, another source having the wavelength that is a lambda 2, or you can say the frequency f1, f2. That can be multiplexed using the WDM devices. Okay, here you can see that the arrows that can be shown in both the direction. So you can transmit as well as receive the signal from either of the direction. So this is about the bidirectional WDM. So this which will enable the communication over one strand of the fiber as well as multiplication of the capacity. Now, the WDM systems, they are divided in a different wavelength pattern, conventional or coarse as well as the dense WDM system. So, conventional WDM system which provides the 8 channel in the third transmission window or C band, that is, of the silica fiber around the 1550 nanometer. Dense WDM uses the same transmission window but the denser channel spacing. What is the advantage of using the WDM? So WDM has several advantages over the other presented approach to increase the capacity of the link. It also works with the existing single mode communication fiber. It works with the low speed equipment. It is a transparent, mean does not depend on the protocol that has to be transmitted. It is a scalable, mean instead of switching it to the new technology, a new channel that can be easily inserted to the existing channel. So companies only have to pay for the bandwidth they actually need. It is easy for the network providers to add the additional capacity in a few days if the customers need it. And these companies that uses the WDM an economical advantage. Parts of the fiber that can be leased to a customer who then gets a faster network access without having to share the connection with the users. The telecommunication company on the other end still has an independent part of the fiber available for the other customers. The various categories for the WDM, that are the coarse WDM, dense WDM and the ultra dense WDM. So we'll see the one by one, that is what is the coarse WDM. So it can carry the 4 to 16 wavelength per fiber. There is no effective bandwidth utilization as a space wavelength between the wavelength that are the more amplification that is difficult and the low cost. Dense WDM. It can carry more than the 32 wavelength per fiber. Efficient bandwidth utilization that is available, better capacity because of the increased density. So it is about it. Now the next is the ultra dense WDM. So ultra dense WDM that can carry more than 100 wavelength per fiber. Okay, so that is why today primarily people are using this. Okay, use the 1.55 micrometer wavelength region for this two reasons. The one is the inherent loss in the optical fiber, that is lowest in that region, and excellent optical amplification, okay, that are available in that region. Okay, WDM standards. Now the various wavelength frequency that has been used in the WDM, and that can be categorized by the International Telecommunication Union, and in it okay, infinite grid that is centered at the 193.1 terahertz as a segment of which, okay, that is shown in the figure. So here you can see in the diagram for the particular frequency and the wavelength, okay, and how the signal bandwidth that can be occupied in case of the WDM. So the ITU, which decides to standardize the grid in the frequency domain based on the each channel spacing of 50 gigahertz to the 100 gigahertz. So early WDM system that use the so-called the C band or the conventional band, okay, and that is approximately the 1530, okay, 1530 to 1565 nanometer. So use of the L band or the long wavelength band that has become the very feasible recently with the development of the optical amplifiers in this particular band. Now the next is the DWDM, that is the dense wavelength division multiplexing. Okay, DWDM. So it's what? So it's a data transmission technology having very large capacity as well as the efficiency. Multiple data channels of an optical channel, okay, of optical signals are assigned different wavelength and are multiplexed onto the one fiber. It consists of the transmitter, multiplexer, optical amplifier as well as the demultiplexer. So now here you can see in the diagram that is what? So we have the various inputs, video, audio, text, data. Okay, so for that we have used a different channel, that is channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel N. Now they have the specific frequency or the wavelength. So now the lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, okay, and it can be multiplexed via the DWDM multiplexer. So multiplexed output here we have shown that it is the lambda 1 plus lambda 2 plus lambda 3 plus lambda N. Now using the optical fiber, and we need to transmit over a long distance, so we need to amplify that signal using the optical amplifier. So here you can see that there is a optical amplifier, and which optical amplifier amplifies the optical signal and transmitting them onto the WDM DMUX. So now this particular DMUX which will be demultiplexed, all the multiplexed output, okay, and we have at the receiver the various data output. So this is the short and sweet block diagram of the dense wavelength division multiplexing. It uses the single mode fiber to carry the multiple light waves of the different frequencies. It uses the erbium doped fiber amplifier for its long haul applications and to overcome the effect of the dispersion, that is the pulse broadening, okay, and attenuation channel spacing of 100 gigahertz which is used. So this is about the WDM, DWDM. Now we'll move forward, okay, to study about the another important thing in the optical fiber communication. That is one of the application, that is the SONET or the SDH. A SONET which stands for the synchronous optical network. Okay, and for the digital signals, the SDH, it is the synchronous digital hierarchy. That's a full form of the SDH. So SONET is the communication protocol which is developed by the Bell Corp and which is used to transmit a large amount of the data over relatively large distance using the optical fiber. So that is the usage of the SONET. So with the SONET we can transmit the multiple data streams, okay, and they are transmitted at the same time over the optical fiber. So again it is very important thing, okay, because we want to transmit the larger number of the data using the optical fiber communication link. Okay, so the key points for the SONET or the SDH are: it is developed by the Bell Corp, it is in the North America, standardized by the ANSI, that is the American National Standard Institute, which is very similar to the SDH, synchronous digital hierarchy, okay, and which is used in the Europe and the Japan. Why the SONET is used is called a synchronous network. That question comes to our mind. So a single clock, okay, so primarily reference clock, PRC we can say, which handles the timings of the transmission of the signals and the equipments, okay, across the entire network, okay. So here the simple diagram of the SONET network elements you can see, okay, and this particular consists of the multiplexer, okay, regenerator is there, add device are there, okay, multiplexer is there, demultiplexer is there, okay. So here the various parts for the particular the line element that can be seen. So these elements are the STS multiplexer. What is this STS multiplexer? So which performs the multiplexing of the signals. Okay, it can convert the electrical signal into the optical signal. STS demultiplexer. So which performs the demultiplexing of the signals, which convert the optical signal into the electrical signals. What is the function of the regenerator? So it's a regenerator that takes an optical signal and regenerates the it. Okay. So we know that we need to regenerate the signal in between. Add or drop the multiplexer. Mean when you want to add the signals coming from the different sources into a given path, okay, or sometimes the signals that may be not necessary, so we can remove the signal, okay, in the SONET. Question is, why SONET is used? So it is used to convert the electrical signal into the optical signal so that it can travel the longer distance. Next is the SONET connections. In the diagram we have seen that the section, line, path, these are the three connections are there. So what is a section? Section means the portion of the network connecting two neighboring devices, which is known as the section. Line, portion of the network connecting two neighboring multiplexer, that is known as the line. And what is the path? That is end-to-end portion of the network, which is referred to as a path. Now next is the SONET layer. So what is the SONET layer? So now as we have seen the OSI layer, okay, which consists of the 7 layers. Out of that, over here I am showing the SONET layer. So one is the physical layer, which is referred to as in this the SONET, it is the photonic layer. Data link layer, in that again we have seen the 3 sections are there. So that are the section layer, line layer and the path layer, okay. So these layers are there in the SONET. So these mainly the 4 functional layers are there, okay, as we have seen in the diagram. So what is the first layer? That is the path layer. So it is responsible for the movement of the signal from its optical source to the optical destination. You have to keep the diagram with you, okay, so that the path layer, okay, that you can see, and what is the functionality, function of this, that is the movement of the signal from the optical signal to the optical destination. STS marks or the demarks, which provides what? The path layer functions. Line layer. So now movement of the signal across the physical line, that is a function of the line layer. So STS marks or the demarks, add or drop marks, that provides the line layer functions. Okay. Section layer. Now it is responsible for the movement of the signal across a physical section, and each device of the network, okay, provides a section layer functions. Now the last layer, that is the physical layer and the photonic layer I said. So it corresponds to the physical layer of the OSI model, which includes a physical specification for the optical fiber channel. Mean the presence of the light, it is 1, and absence of the light, which is denoted by the 0. What are the advantage of using the SONET? So transmit the data into the larger distance, low electromagnetic interference, high data rate, and the large bandwidth. Okay, so that are the advantage of using the SONET. SONET frames. Now the basic SONET frame, which comprises of the 810 byte. The frames are transmitted at a rate of 8000 frames per byte, which is the sampling rate of the telephone network. A SONET frame that is represented as a rectangular block of a miles with a 9 rows and a 90 columns. Okay, so now in the diagram we will see about this. So this is the SONET frame. Now here you can see that the 9 row, the first 3 rows that are known as the system overhead, and the payloads are there. Okay, and the 90 columns are there in case of the SONET frames. Okay, so the first 3 columns of the SONET frame, okay, so which contains the system information and is generally termed as the overhead, while the rest, which is marked as the blue, which contains the payload and the data to be transmitted in this frame. Okay, the first 3 rows of the system overhead, okay, and which contain the section overhead, and the next 6 rows, okay, that can contain the line overhead. So this is regarding the advances in the optical communication, optical technology. So thank you very much everyone.